I slaughtered my first rabbit. So, uh, today, I really needed to be able to process the rabbits, and so it was kind of an emotional ordeal. And the whole premise behind me buying meat rabbits to raise, and I had them bred, and then we had 8 baby rabbits. The whole premise was to really have a food source. The beginning of 2020, there was a pandemic, and there was a food shortage. Specifically, there was a meat shortage. And when you put somebody like myself who was already like deeply recognizing the frailty of our food system, and then all of a sudden there's like this micron of a disease called COVID that really shuts down the whole world. It really like put me in a place of like, it's go time. I need to secure a protein source. And there wasn't I don't know how many people actually like did what I did. I mean, there were I tore up the backyard in our old house, and I started like planting all sorts of beans and ready to like potentially have to feed my family from the food in the backyard. And I knew that basically a garden wasn't going to be enough. And so my wife and we bought some meat rabbits. I looked at some videos about the Great Depression, and I guess like hindsight, that seemed a bit extreme to say that, well, I mean, everything was going back to normal. I didn't want to like just assume that, and I wanted to be prepared and ready, and I didn't feel like that. And so I looked at some videos about how people survived the Great Depression, and there was a lot of things they talked about. One was being able to have manual skills, to be able to like help your neighbor out by building a fence, if you knew how to weld, if you knew how to do construction. Like manual labor became very important. And the other thing was like surviving off of meat rabbits. And so we bought some, and I was very worried about my kids getting emotionally attached to these things. I mean, they're rabbits, they're cute, and I was just kind of worried that they would wouldn't be able to like handle that, and so there's a lot of people who probably give me some like how dare you kill an animal so cute as to eat it, like what do you think you're eating right now, like when you eat meat? Like, is it not life? Is it not an animal? And so the difference is that you get the luxury to be unaware of where that meat source came from, and also the life it lived during its time here. And so before somebody gets all uptight about eating rabbits, you have to also understand of what you're currently eating. It's different because the way it's different is that it allows the food industry to mistreat these animals in poor living conditions, have a really crappy life, and that's hidden from you, and you allow it, and it's everybody's happy. And I feel that the only in my so I became a vegetarian, and I had some thoughts about becoming a vegetarian for the sake of compassion towards animals, as well as the ability to like be kind to the earth and minimize carbon emissions. So I became a vegetarian for 2 years for a lot of reasons. One being because of animal compassion. And as I progressed in my understanding about how frail our food system is, I recognized that there really needs to be an efficient protein source. And I think that having enough land, if there was enough lands that I had access to, I think that I would be able to grow enough beans to satisfy our protein source. The only problem is that there is a vitamin called B12 that is only found in animal sources, and if you're relying on B12 from the grocery store, like if the grocery stores go under, like you're not going to be able to get any B12. So like you kind of, it was this recognition that like both sides of me was kind of like, I want to be able to I want to be able to have animals to have like very equitable life, not very, I guess what's the word? Not equitable, but compassionate life, right? I don't want to have animals raised in an industrial food system to suffer to satisfy our excessive meat consumption. On the other hand, I understood that if we had to the most environmental friendly thing to do is to rely on our own food system that we do ourselves, and you kind of have to grow some animals. And I'm not talking like meat animals, right? So protein efficiency per acre is not going to be cows. It's going to be small animals that in nature were meant to be prey. So rabbits were kind of a very fundamental meat source for a lot of predators, and because it's a very efficient protein per acre of land, nothing beats growing beans, but I would say rabbits are next. So why did I raise chickens? Well, because I got little kids and I don't want them to be contaminated with all the fecal matter that come with chickens. So E. coli is a big deal. You have to be very sanitary to be able to raise chickens to slaughter, even to have eggs. And my kids are not sanitary themselves. My 3-year-old is, he's kind of gross, we're potty training him and just fecal matter himself. Kids are gross themselves, and hygiene is a big issue. And so I didn't, if they were to be exposed by E. coli or salmonella, mainly salmonella. Sorry, E. coli is mainly in cows and salmonella is mainly in chickens. And so if they were going to be contaminated by salmonella, they were more vulnerable, and they don't have the hygiene yet in place to be able to prevent contamination with chicken fecal matter. So I didn't think chickens were actually very safe for kids. I know that they're cute and it's hard with rabbits, but with rabbits, they're actually a lot safer. Their fecal matter is not contaminated with E. coli. It's not contaminated with salmonella. Their fecal matter is it's ready to go into the garden, and so you don't have to go to the process of composting like you would with chicken manure. And so there's so many positives. In fact, rabbit meat is one of the healthiest meats that you'll find. It's one of the most low forms of the most healthiest meat that has the lowest amount of saturated fats compared to even chicken. And you're able to harvest the liver for B12 as well as the kidneys. There's an abundant amount of iron that's found in as well as the liver of really any animal, including the rabbit. And so, in terms of nutrition and vitamins, with protein, animal protein that's healthy source, as well as vitamins, specifically B12 and then iron, and also a species that's able to rapidly replicate. And there's nothing else that I knew. And so when it came down to butchering it, it was hard. I think that one of the things that helped is that I watched a lot of videos to help desensitize me to how to butcher life. It was really hard. I didn't think I was going to do it, but as I was watching videos, it just helped me to manage the recognition that this cute thing is no longer here. He's now butchered and also now in the freezer. I know exactly though how the life was treated. I treated his life with honor, with respect, and he's grass fed, and he enjoyed a time on the grass once she was old enough, the rabbit, and I had to butcher 2 of them. I didn't show it because I wasn't ready. I didn't think I was gonna be able to like do it to begin with, but it definitely gave me an appreciation for like life, and I mean, like the circle of life. So right now the unedible parts of the rabbit are in my garden. So I dug up a good 6 inches of soil, laid down a lot of the carbonaceous leaf matter from corn, and laid it down under the base of the hole, and then laid the remains of the rabbit, and then covered in soil. I didn't want to like throw it in the trash because I felt like that was the most disrespectful thing I can do to this life, is to somehow let it rot without entering back into the life cycle. The most respectful thing to do is to actually let it compost within my garden to provide a food cycle. That it will compost with the leaf matter, and the rest of the rabbits in the soil with the microbes will be able to decompose that, provide nutrients for plants. Specifically, I'm going to be growing lettuce here in the fall that will be able to feed me and the rabbits themselves. And so I can tell you that every single piece of meat that I had to harvest came with a different appreciation. I didn't just kind of throw meat away. There's some like small piece of meat that I didn't feel like it was necessary. I didn't throw it away. I like saved it, and because I know all that went into that meat, and it's precious, and it's meant to and so, I mean, is it weird? I guess. At the same time, like, what's the current food system? Like, why is the current food system not weird? To be unaware of the life that was there prior to and is sitting on your plate. I think that that's weird. And that somehow ignorance absolves us of any level of responsibility is short-sighted. And so I didn't like having to kill this animal. But as I was shoveling soil over the remains of the rabbit, there was this monarch butterfly that came and landed on the flowers. And I was enjoying the flowers and the sweat of my brow as well, and seeing the sunflowers in the garden, and it just really gave you an appreciation for the cycle of life, and that I'm a part of this as well. And I feel like I'm a more whole person because I understand these things experientially. And then I had to go and help the mommy rabbit. She's got some urine burn, and so I'm there like putting medicine on her bottom, So like after I've done butchering this rabbit, I'm like helping the mommy like with one of her ailments. And so I'm like I feel like I was able to like, okay, I feel like a homesteader. When you butcher your first animal, I think that's like a rite of passage to say that that now you've kind of arrived to the place of homesteading. And here in my backyard. So anyway, if hopefully you like this, and one other thing you can do for me. So if you really enjoyed this YouTube channel, please hit the like button. What happens is that the YouTube analog will allow more people to see this video if you like it, and so I would be able to send out this message to more people out in the world if you hit the like button. And so I think that what I'll do next time is show you how to start a garden, but I just wanted to document my experience, and I think you guys can do this. I think that it really takes some kind of deep kind of philosophical. I mean, I hate to be philosophical on this all, but like it kind of helped, and so I think it's doable. I think it is. I didn't think I could do it at first prior, but when push came to shove, because I'm like, we can't have like 12 rabbits in the backyard, and like I'm only able to sell like one per month to go to a home. And so I was like, we're not gonna be able to do this. I mean, they're gonna grow up too big to where no one's gonna want them, and so it's time. And so I'm gonna have to, probably next weekend, I'm gonna butcher the other two, and go from there. So I did the butchering. My wife can cook it. Now I guess you're not really a fully homesteader unless you actually cook the thing and eat it yourself. And so, but I'm hoping that my wife could cook that part and and chop it up in small pieces. You can't even tell what it is, and put it in the soup, and then there you go. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.